Hello and welcome to week 3 of my Beachcombing Blanket crochet along. I'm Eleonora, the designer behind Coastal Crochet, and all the details about this blanket can be found over on my blog, Coastal Crochet, and the links are in the description below. I've broken the tutorial down into smaller segments, so if you want help with the entire square, do follow the tutorials in order, but otherwise I've titled each tutorial to correspond with the round that it's there to accompany. And remember to have the written pattern with you as you work through the rounds. And I hope you find the tutorials helpful. So at the beginning of round 9, it tells us to join yarn to the left stitch of any 4 treble group. So where we did our 4 treble US double crochet stitches into the chain space, that 4 treble group, it's the left stitch that we need to join our yarn to. So this is a 4 treble group, 4 US double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's the left stitch that we need to join our yarn to. For left-handed crocheters, you might have to adjust that to be the right stitch depending how you follow patterns. But for right-handed crocheters, it's the left treble stitch of any 4 treble group. So this one here, and join with yarn E. And then it tells us to make 1 chain, which counts as the first double crochet or US single crochet of this next round. And it tells us now to work 1 double crochet, US single crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. So just work 1 double crochet, US single crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. That's 3 and that's 4. And now, if you look at the instructions, it tells us to miss the next stitch. So miss this stitch, we're not going to crochet into that one, but work a raised double treble front 2 together around both the first and second raised stitches from round 7. So what that means is, so these are our raised stitches, our front post stitches in the US, and it's a double treble. So that's a treble stitch in the US, and that's where you wrap your yarn over the hook twice. So wrap your yarn over the hook twice, and then go to work your first raised double treble front, or your front post treble in the US, around the first raised stitch of these 2 raised stitches below. So insert your hook around the stem of the first stitch, going from front to back, round to the front again, and go to complete your double treble or US treble stitch as normal. So yarn over, pull through to the front, you should have 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then stop there because this is the final stage of the stitch. And we're not going to complete the stitch because we want to do 2 of these together. So stop there and then go to do your next raised stitch around the second raised stitch below from round 7. So wrap your yarn over the hook twice, go around the post of the second raised stitch below from round 7, and then go to complete the stitch as normal, your double treble or your US treble. So yarn over, pull through to the front. You'll have 5 loops on the hook this time because we didn't complete that first stitch. But what we do is we do yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 until we have 3 loops on the hook. And when you have 3 loops on the hook, you do yarn over and pull through all 3. And what we've done there is we've done 2 raised stitches, but we've done them together to make them 1 stitch at the top. So you can see there's the 1 stitch we've made from these 2 raised stitches. So that's what a raised double treble front 2 together means, or in the US a front post treble 2 together. So if you look at the instructions, it now tells us to do 1 double crochet, US single crochet in each of the next 5 stitches, remembering that we're missing that stitch. We missed that stitch to work the raised stitches beneath it. So the next one to go into will be this one here. So 1 double crochet, US single crochet in each of the next 5 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3 and 5. And so now we're at a point where it says miss the next stitch, work in 1 raised double treble front, 2 together around both the first and second raised stitches below from round 7. And we're doing exactly what we did earlier on. So a raised double treble front is your front post treble. So wrap your yarn over the hook twice and you're working 2 of these raised stitches together over the first and the first and second raised stitches below from round 7. So you've wrapped your yarn over the hook twice. Let's go around the post of that first stitch. Insert your hook around the post of that stitch, yarn over hook, pull through to the front. You'll have 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then stop there. Then wrap your yarn over the hook twice and go around the second raised stitch beneath from round 7, around the post of that stitch, yarn over, pull through. You'll have 5 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, stop there when you've got 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And again, what you've done there is you've made 2 raised treble stitches and you've done them together to make the 1 stitch. And then if you look at the instructions, it says repeat from star to end. So go where the star is in the pattern and it will tell you to do 1 double crochet, US single crochet in each of the next 5 stitches, remembering that we've missed that stitch directly behind the raised stitch. So 1 double crochet, US single crochet in each of the next 5 stitches, and then do the raised stitches together just like what I've shown you already, and repeat that all the way around. So on my last repeat, just on these 5 double crochet stitches, I've done 3, that's 4, and that's 5, and then miss the next stitch, which is actually our final stitch of the round, and then we're working the raised double treble front 2 together. So wrap your yarn around the hook twice, and it's around these 2 raised stitches below from round 7. So go around the first one and then go to complete your double treble, US treble stitch as normal, but stop at the last yarn over hook when there's 2 loops on the hook, and then go to make your next stitch. So yarn over the hook twice, insert your hook around the post of the second raised stitch below from round 7, yarn over, pull through to the front, and then go to complete your double treble, US treble stitch as normal, but stop at the last yarn over when you've got 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And there we are at the end of our repeats and the end of the round, and it tells us now to simply slip stitch to the first chain that counted as our first double crochet, US single crochet stitch of the round. So insert your hook under both strands of that beginning chain and work a slip stitch to close the round and then fasten off. And this is what the end of round 9 looks like. Again, we've got 12 groups of these raised stitches going all the way around, and they're to resemble those fishing nets, especially with the colour and the sort of grid-like diamond shapes that the fishing nets so often have. So that's the end of round 9. We're ready to move on to round 10. So at the beginning of round 10, it tells us to have the orange life ring facing upright and imagine a square around it, because in this next round we're going to be creating a square. We're going to be turning this circle into a square. So you don't really want your life ring to be sort of off center or like that. I mean, it's personal preference, but I quite like my life ring to look like that, with the spike stitches sort of pointing diagonally outwards. So if you hold your life ring like that and imagine a square around it, what you're going to be doing is joining yarn eye to the central double crochet, US single crochet of any 5 double crochet US single crochet group. So here is this spike stitch here, So this here is the group, the 5 double crochet US single crochet group where I want to join my yarn to yarn eye. So here's the spike stitch, here are the 5 stitches, and it's the central stitch of these 5 that you want to join your yarn eye to. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's the central stitch, 1, 2, 3, the third stitch along. So insert your hook into that central double crochet, US single crochet stitch, and join with yarn eye. So this is where our first corner is going to be, and that's why it's important to place it above this spike stitch from round 3. And so now it tells us to make 4 chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that counts as the first double treble US treble stitch of this next round. And if you look at the pattern, it now tells us to do 1 double treble, US treble, 2 chain, and then 2 further double treble, US trebles, all into the same stitch. So that's 1, then it's 2 chain, and then 2 further double treble, US treble, which is where you wrap the yarn around the hook twice, all into the same stitch. That's 1, and that's 2. And that's our first corner of the square that we're going to create going around the circle. And so if you look at the pattern, it now says 1 double treble, US treble, in each of the next 2 stitches. That's 1, and that's 2. It now tells us to do 1 treble, US double crochet, in each of the next 2 stitches. That's 1, and that's 2. It now tells us to do 1 half treble, US half double crochet, in each of the next 2 stitches. It's 1, and that's 2, and then 1 double crochet, US single crochet, in each of the next 5 stitches. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 half treble in the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and then 1 treble in the next 2 stitches, 1, 2, 1 double treble in the next 2 stitches, 1, and that's 2. And then we're going to create our second corner. So in our second corner we work 2 double treble, that's 1, that's 2, 2 chain, 1, 2, and 2 further double treble, US treble stitches, all into the same stitch, and then we will have created our second corner. I'll show you what that looks like now. So there we've created our first 2 corners, which will be going around this central circle. And if you look at the pattern, it now tells us to repeat from start 3 times. So go back to where the star is, and you'll see it's 1 double treble in each of the next 2 stitches, then 1 treble in 2, 1 half treble in 2, then it's the run of double crochet, US single crochets, and so on until you get to the next corner. And repeat from star 3 times in total, ending the final repeat at star, star. So I'm just on my final repeat, and I've just got my final double treble, US treble stitch to do in that final stitch. And that brings me to star star on the written pattern. And if you look now, it says to slip stitch to the top of the first 4 chain. Remember that first 4 chain we made, 1, 2, 3, 4, that counted as our first double treble, US treble stitch. And so we slip stitch into the top of that 4 chain, going under both strands, and then fasten off. Is the end of round 10, and this is now what it looks like. We've created that square around the circle, and we should have 21 stitches between this corner chain space and this corner chain space. So between those 2 holes there should be 21 stitches going across. And now we can move on to round 11. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. Thank you so much for watching. The subsequent rounds are in a separate tutorial, all available on my YouTube channel.